where have you been most recently on the campaign jaunt, and what have you been learning from folks here in Iowa that you've been talking with?
Well, I think the thing that we see both in Iowa and New Hampshire, where we've been spending most of our time, is that I call them kitchen table issues, but uh, inflation is one. I mean, it's like we got the Biden administration saying inflation's 5% instead of 10%. You should feel good about getting a 5% pay cut instead of a 10% pay cut last year, but that doesn't include food or fuel, and everybody knows they're paying more for food and they're paying more for the than they should be for energy prices. So we hear that. I mean, that is sort of a kitchen table economic thing. We also know that there's a lot of concern because there's about at the national level. I mean, the institutions that we need to support democracy and people are worried a lot about, is there dual system of justice going on in our country, where we got double standard, one for another. People hear that. And I think there's also, we talk about national security, but it's really global stability. People, we've got 3 kids in our 20s, but I never thought I'd be talking to them about the possibility of World War III. But then when you see what's going on, we're in a Cold War with China. We got actual war happening in Eastern Europe, where we've sent everything but troops going on there. And it's so unstable right now. Whether it's a Iran nuclear deal or this Russia pulling out of the Black Sea grain deal yesterday, North Korea firing missiles. I mean, when Catherine and I, the First Lady, and I were leading a trade mission to Japan from North Dakota last October, I mean, North Korea fired a missile over the top of Japan when we were there, and we were in a meeting with a big Japanese trading company talking about the same things that people in Iowa would be talking about the Japanese, because they have 126 million people living in a space the size of 2 Iowas,
Mm-hmm.
and they've got zero oil and gas production, and they only have raise about 2/3 of the calories they need. So they got to import for food security and energy security. It's all about imports, and then they're looking at like, hey, the whole world is China's got the largest navy, and we could be cut off like we were towards the end of World War II, and they're nervous about it. And then we're supposed to be their biggest ally, and then we've got an administration that's trying to shut down U.S. energy as opposed to selling energy to our allies versus us buying it from our adversaries. And if you cared about clean energy and you care about the environment, which I know people in New Hampshire, Iowa, and North Dakota do, because in all these states, most of the land is owned by the landowners, the farmers or the ranchers, and nobody cares more about the land than a multi-generational landowner. I mean, they care a lot more about it than some bureaucrat from Washington, D.C. And then we got an administration that's going to places like Venezuela that doesn't even have an EPA, and they're asking them, hey, can you produce more energy ahead of the midterms, because they were trying to get the price down at the pump ahead of the midterms. So it is, I'd say there's just real concerns, and of course, if you talk to people in cities, the larger cities in this country, people are feeling like, if you say, hey, is it safer and more vibrant and more healthy in that city today than it was 2.5 years ago, the answer across the board is going to be no. I mean, we're going the wrong direction, and if we're the shining city on the hill that we want the world to see, that the best of the best of America is here, we got some work to do in turning some things around. But so there's a lot of concern out there, but we're honored to be in the race, grateful for the support we've received so far, and grateful to be here with you today.